What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Spill the Beans podcast.
Happy Friday. It is November. Isn't that crazy? Which is why this is the setup. So this is crazy, guys, because we only have one pumpkin and one pump ass flower. But it's because, what are we doing, babe?
We're gonna go
shopping. We're gonna go Christmas shopping because we want Christmas to last as long as possible, right? And we want this the last of the year to be super jolly and Christmas vibes. So the podcast setup is gonna be Christmas vibes, and we're so excited. So all of November, all of December, you will see Christmas, and then we'll go back to like a regular setup in January.
Yeah. And then also, guys, hope you had a fantastic Halloween. We love Halloween, and we're actually going to go trick-or-treating here soon because we are filming this on a Monday. But right now it's Friday, so hopefully you had a great day and you spent it with loved ones. And if you had a little kid like us and it was your first Halloween, congrats, and I hope you guys had fun.
Yeah, and I hope that you guys can trick-or-treat for a long time because us, we're going to have to trick-or-treat before the sun goes down because Franco is little and it's freaking cold here in Colorado. It is actually surprising that it's not snowing because do you remember last year for Halloween it was snowing?
It was?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it snowed I think the 29th and the 30th.
But didn't our friends come and it was kind of lame because it was hot?
No, that was for our Halloween party, which was like 3 years ago.
Oh.
But that's what I'm saying.
No, Nat, también. When she came, it was like...
It wasn't Halloween. They came like the 24th through the 28th probably. But then it like starts snowing. So we're glad that there's no snow on the floor this year. But it is pretty cold. So we're going to try to trick or treat before the sun goes down. And then guess what? We're going to be the cool house on the street with king size candy bars.
You never know, babe. Maybe we're used to, our Mexican neighborhoods. Nowadays,
maybe we're the lame.
We're gonna be they give you like a
goodie bag.
They give you scooters and shit.
Oh damn, that would suck. But we'll see because we're gonna go trick or treating with Franco and my sisters. So when we get home, we're gonna compare candies. A ver qué pasó.
Oh, like they're gonna go to their neighborhoods?
No, we're gonna go to this neighborhood, and we're gonna see like what kind of candy our neighborhood gives out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll compare when my sisters get home and we can see their candy.
Bet. All right, guys, let's get started with the weather. And we're going with I think I'm gonna start off with Kansas City. Did we do that last week?
I think we did.
So never mind. Sorry, Kansas. We're gonna go with LA. I know we've done LA before, but I feel like it's one of the cities our viewers are most from. So we're gonna go with LA right now, guys. LA is saying Friday, it's going to be 68 degrees, still sunny, but 68 degrees. And I know that's kind of on the chillier side for you guys. So yeah, enjoy that great weather. I mean, you can't go surfing, but you're also not going to be dying in your car. You know what I mean? Next city, we're going to go ahead and give you Tampa, Florida. Next Friday, you guys are predicted to have just a normal 85 degrees, just a sunny day. I feel like it's 85 también. I can't see the humidity level on here, and I'm assuming for Florida that must matter a lot because it could be 85 dry or an 85 humid, which I believe is a big difference. And let's go with El Paso, Texas. So with El Paso for next Friday, you guys are looking at 57 degrees, a little cloudy. So yeah, that's definitely chilly for all my Texans out there. I feel like El Paso, out of all the big major cities, is probably one of the coldest.
Yeah.
Compared to Dallas, Houston, Austin. I feel like at the times I've been to El Paso is when I go in December because I'm on my way to Mexico. So El Paso has always been chilly vibes for me.
Yeah, when we went in March, I think it was pretty cold, huh? We had to walk in downtown, and it was pretty chilly. Like we had Franco bundled up and stuff. So
yeah. And lastly, for our little hometown of Denver, Colorado, it says for all my Coloradians out there, 71 degrees. So as of right now, LA and El Paso are going to be colder than Denver.
That is so good for November. Yeah. Because as I said, usually it's already snowed, so it's already pretty cold.
Yeah. We definitely do feel the chillier, like in the mornings the like cuando baja el sol. But 71, keep it up, Colorado, because you never know.
We're going to be out in short sleeves and shorts, baby.
All right, guys.
let's hop into the title of this podcast, which has been a hot topic on my Instagram and on my channel because you guys are so curious as to what we're using for birth control.
Oh my
dun,
God.
Dun, dun. And even we uploaded a picture at the pumpkin patch and people were like, oh my God, I thought this was a pregnancy announcement. I'm like, girl.
I didn't think about it like that until I saw the comments.
Yeah,
I was like, oh shit.
but I'm like, I'm literally 9 months postpartum. I'm not gonna. Well, I'm hoping not to get pregnant because we're not using.
Babe, don't
anything.
even jinx nothing right now.
I know. I'm gonna bite my tongue. Like I'm used to everything that we say. Everything that we say we don't want to happens.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna shut up. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, so this has been a hot topic because a couple weeks ago, if you guys don't know, Stacy Diaz, our friend, is pregnant, and honestly, Stacy is one of our. I don't know. I just feel like Stacy is so. What can I call her, babe? Like,
cool.
Like yes, like I can go to her videos to learn anything about everything. She's so well spoken. She is so educated, and I love watching her videos. Right. So she just announced that she's pregnant, and we're so happy for her. And she was saying in one of her videos, she's like. Well, she was explaining how there's only like a certain amount of time when you can get pregnant, and there's only one time a month where you can get pregnant. And I remember a couple months ago when she was saying that, she was like, oh, well, you can really only get pregnant one time, like one day out of the month. And then that right there, I know it's not a fact, but she like said it like that just to, I feel like to make it, ¿cómo se dice? Like to emphasize that you can only get pregnant at a certain time of the month. So when she said that, I got super curious and I was like, oh my God, I need to go and search this up and I need to get educated because I don't want to get on birth control. So here's where it started, where I answered one of my questions on Instagram and I said, oh yeah, you can really only get pregnant one day out of the month. So I'm kind of doing natural family planning and all of that. And then I got so many messages like, girl, you're not saying facts, blah, blah, blah. Like you need to be, you need to like put good information out there because you have a huge following. And I was like, okay, first of all, I was, ¿cómo se dice? Exagerando. And then second of all, I was like, I hope that made you guys interested in that because we kind of want to do the part where we don't want you to think that you have to put hormones or extra hormones in your body. And that's why Jonathan and I decided to do natural family planning, right, babe?
Yeah.
Tell them why. Tell them why you did. Like you did want me to go back on my next one on, but why you were like, okay, like I'm cool if you don't.
The short explanation.
I'm sure, whatever you want.
Because you turn into a total ass being when you're on birth control. As Blanca's like 10 times meaner, and there's another few things which I think are a little bit too TMI. So yeah. I'm not gonna say them, but you know what?
You can say them, babe, because I'm gonna talk about that.
All right, fuck it. You know,
because they did ask me what the side effects were, and that's why I didn't want to go back on birth control. So it's okay.
Okay, this is funny, but yeah, I'm just gonna say it out there. Blanca during sex wasn't as wet anymore.
Mm-hmm. So that is one of the side effects that I got. Okay, the best side effect I would say is I wouldn't get my period. So that was fine and dandy, but it was kind of scary because I had the worst mood swings, guys. Like I was mean, huh, babe? I was like. Yeah. Super mean. And then on top of that, I did want to clear my hormonal acne, which is, I think it's not a fact, but I think that the Nexplanon did mess up my hormones enough to give me hormonal acne. And then that was another side effect, is that I was really dry. It does not matter how long or what we did for foreplay. I just couldn't. Like I couldn't. So we had should I tell them? Is that too much information?
Nah, fuck it. That's called spill the beans, babe.
Yeah.
As soon as I said like, oh, I might be too TMI, then I'm like, then why the fuck did we make a podcast? You know? So
basically we had to use a natural lubricant because I just couldn't. And obviously, you know that if you're not wet down there, it freaking hurts, you know? Yeah. So thankfully, like Jonathan was super understanding. Like he obviously doesn't understand the science of the freaking Nexplanon and stuff, but he understands that it did not make me feel good at all. And obviously he was getting the end of it too. I feel
like if she would have told me, hey, by the way, I'm not gonna get as wet, then I would have been like, oh, now that she told me, but I'm the one that actually brought it up first because I noticed it when obviously you got on, but also when you got off. Mm-hmm. As soon as you got off and we did, I was like, oh my God, this is like way better, you know? So I was like, hold up, like, You know, it's not like you're like, by the way, babe, when I get on, I'm going to get more dry. No, like I first personally like experienced it. So I'm like, okay, like this shit's real.
Yeah, like what's going on? Because that is just not natural. You naturally get wet. Like that's just something that your body naturally does. So the Nexplanon did affect it a lot. And I think that I was okay with it because I wasn't getting pregnant and because we didn't want kids at the time, you know, so we were totally fine with it. But as soon as I got off, guys, a huge shift, huh? I started feeling better. My acne still, it was messed up, you know, because my hormones were still really bad. And it was just all around really, really good. So we decided after I had Franco, I was like 6-week checkup. I'm gonna put my Nexplanon back on. I don't want another kid. But then my skin got clear and I was in a good mood and nothing was going wrong. And I was like, damn, like I don't think I want to mess up my hormones again. It's not worth it. So we decided to go the natural family planning type of way. Well, the first thing we did was condoms, of course. But condoms, first of all, condoms for the guy is not that great. I mean, it's not the best, you know, unless you're trying to protect yourself from STIs, and that's very, very good. But for us, we're in a monogamous relationship. We're married. We're going to be together for the rest of our lives. It was like not the vibes, you know? And then we noticed that when we wouldn't use, so when we started having sex after I gave birth, it was rough, huh, babe? Like with the condoms, like I would tell you, it hurts. Like I don't want to do this. It freaking hurts. Like it was a bad time, I would say. And so when we started doing the pull-out method again, that I was like, oh damn, like it doesn't hurt anymore. So I was like, is it the condoms that are hurting? And we would get the extra lubricated, extra thin, like the best in the market, según, and it was fine. So I mean, it wasn't fine. It was still hurting. So then when it didn't hurt, and then de ahí me agarré yo, like it wasn't like Jonathan like, oh no, I don't want to wear a condom. And it was me like, no, it hurts and I don't want, like it just doesn't make the experience good, you know? And if you don't have a good experience while sex, like why are you going to have sex, you know? So then I told Jonathan like, you know what? It was hard because I still hadn't gotten my period. And you know that with natural family planning, you actually have to get your period and you have to track it in order for it to be more effective. It's obviously not 100% effective, but nothing is really. Like there's still, if you're having sex, you can get pregnant. So as soon as I got my period in the first day of October, actually, I was like, oh, thank God. Because antes de eso, when we would do the pull-out method, we bought like, 2 Plan Bs, I think, or 3. I would be like, babe, give me a Plan B. Even if he didn't finish inside me, just because I was terrified of getting pregnant so early on after postpartum. So when I got my period in October, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start tracking it. I'm going to do natural family planning. And then this is when I do want to tell you guys, I got this straight out of the internet. There's about a 6-day period in the month where you can get pregnant. Okay, so, and I would tell Jonathan, because he'd be like, are you fertile today? And I'd be like, yes, I'm fertile. Okay, the next day, are you fertile today? So I would tell, babe, after Wednesday, my chances of getting pregnant are low, so we can go ham, you know? So then that is why it says that you can get pregnant 3 days before ovulation and 3 days after ovulation, because the male's sperm lasts in your body about, how long did I say? 3 days, right? Yeah. About 3 days alive. So say you have unprotected sex before you ovulate, but then they stay in there. So when you ovulate, it's bound to like meet and fertilize and you get pregnant. So that's why there's about 6 days of each month. If you have a normal 28-day cycle, like I said, you have to track your cycle and be on top of that because you can get pregnant. There's those 6 days that I don't even let you touch me, right? Like, no, we're not going to do it at all. Yeah. So you have to be super careful. So that's why we're doing natural family planning. Of course, like as I said, it's not 100% effective, but it is way better than putting freaking, unknown objects into my body. And pills. I can't do pills either. So yeah, that was my long explanation as to why we're doing natural family planning.
Yeah. No, that's a good explanation, babe, because honestly, yeah.
And I feel like it's not really common for Hispanics to do like birth control, right? Like my mom, también, she did kind of natural family planning. So
yeah, because that's what they teach you, right, in marriage classes.
Yes. Okay, so then that's another thing. I remember Noemi, our friend, told me that they tried to teach her that in the classes before they got married, and I was like, oh my god, like it just sounds so tedious. But when you have the app that tracks your cycle and does everything, by the way, not sponsored, but Flo, if you want to sponsor me, please do. I use the app and I bought it actually so it could do like the premium.
Tell them how accurate it is so these girls can get a feeling of like not, I don't want to say trust it, and then like in 2 days someone's like, hey, we got pregnant because of your podcast. But like tell them how, like the examples you would get, and you're like, oh shit.
Oh my god. Okay, so it started when I started tracking my period in October. When my period was over, it just tells you like you have to log when you have sex, because if you were to get pregnant, it tells you exactly the day that you got pregnant, and it tells you all of this, right? So there's like a period where you're about to get your where you're about to ovulate, and the Flow app sends you notifications, and that morning it sends you notifications like in the middle of the day. So that morning we wake up, we go downstairs, we do our routine, and Jonathan comes downstairs, and I'm like, damn, he looks really hot today. So I was like, wow, like I was super attracted to him, like way more than the day before. So I was like, damn, like what did he do different, you know? But no, there was nothing different. So then it like comes to the noon, and I get my notifications like, today you might find your partner more attractive, because that's a symptom of you ovulating. I literally look at Jonathan, I was like, babe, guess what? And I told him, and I was like, this is so accurate, right? And then it just tells you like, oh, today you might experience more bloating, today your breast might be more tender, and everything that it said, it doesn't say that it's a fact and that it's bound to happen, because nobody's the same. But for me, everything that it was telling me, I was like, oh shit, like this is to the T, like perfect. And then this last weekend, I was supposed to get my period the 28th. I was supposed to get my period the 28th. And we kind of had like a little bit of a pregnancy scare, but not really. Because I was telling Jonathan, I was like, babe, like, I don't know. I think I'm pregnant. Because when you're not on birth control, you just always think you're pregnant, period. You know? Mm-hmm. So I told him, I was like, babe, I think I might be pregnant. But as everyone says, the symptoms leading up to your period can be the same symptoms as if you were pregnant. So you really never know. So I was just like that. Jonathan's like, no, babe. He's like, I believe in you. You're going to get your period here soon. He was over there hyping me up as if I could control that, you know? So then on Saturday, it's funny because even our periods sync. Because Jonathan said, you said that, right? I was like, you know, like when you hang out with girls, your periods sync? I was like, yeah, they do. So then on Saturday, Nat tells me that she gets her period, right? Is that TMI, do you think? No. Yeah. No, it shouldn't be. And then I was like, oh, damn. I was like, oh, shit, I'm definitely pregnant, because if she got her period and we're here now, it should have synced, and this should have been the time. I checked my app and it says you're 1 day late, but it says don't worry, like just log your period when you get it. And I was like, oh, you know, I was starting to get nervous. But then literally 2 hours after she told me that she got it, I got it. I was like, ay, gracias a Dios. So I was just 1 day late basically, and I think that it was due to the plan B that we took last month. So I was like, it usually always messes you up. You're always late, you're always early, something like that. So I don't know, guys, this Flow app, I think it's like $3. I think it's so worth it. It is to a T. It sends you reminders, it sends you notifications, and on top of that, it gives you so many articles that you can read and like get super educated on your cycle and like on pregnancy and on just everything. So yeah. So Flo, if you want to sponsor me, please hit me up, because I would love to talk more about you.
But I feel like those $3 are worth it, especially if it avoids putting stuff in your body. And then
it's like, yeah, if it's not going to mess you up. Because after Franco, guys, literally I lost weight, my hormones got regulated, and then I didn't have acne anymore. I was like, girl, that quiso. So yeah, I really, really don't want to go back on birth control. So this takes us to the second question that we get a lot, is like, okay, if you are not going to go back on birth control, is Jonathan gonna go on birth control? And if you know what birth control for men is,
you get hit in the nuts. Now, I would not say that's birth control, but I would say that's like a birth termination. Like well, you're not getting pregnant. Like you remind guys, if you know The Office, you know what I mean. Like when Jan makes Michael like snip and then unsnip and then snip. That's like what Blanca wants me to do. Like, hey, we're not gonna have babies for a while. Snip.
Yeah, I told him
unsnip. Like no,
since it's reversible, like don't you think it would just be much better if you snipped? And but then Jonathan's like, well, what makes you think that it's 100% reversible, and that when I get it reversed, I'm gonna have live sperm again? I was like, yeah. I was like, you're right. And since we're not like 100% sure that we're done having babies, I think we want one more.
Yeah, one more.
Or imagínate no sale twins. But anyways, yeah, that's why he's not doing that. But I think you have thought about it, right, babe? Like when we're done, you're gonna snip.
Oh yeah, 100%. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like Yeah, girls get the really rough end of the stick with the whole like birth control, and then after birth you have to get on birth control again. And I don't know, I just like, I'm not trying to be like a little like feminist vibes here, but I just don't know why like the push from the very beginning has never been like, oh, let's use our money and our science to find a birth control for men instead of women right away, you know? Like, fuck that. Like, imagine like you're just going about your day and then you get your period, like.
And plus, like they say, women can get 100 men can get 100 women pregnant in 1 month, and girls can only get pregnant once a year. So
yeah, so why would you like focus all this money and research on preventing it for women when we should do it for men, you know?
Yeah,
like,
when men are the problem.
Sense. It's just all these old white men in Congress that like don't want to do shit for their bodies, and like, but they want to control other people's, you know?
But they want to get, what's that thing? They want to get that pill that, but they made that pill that helps you put it up when you're too old.
Oh, Viagra?
Yeah. It's like, oh, they don't want to get male birth control, but they're going to make that pill.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, if you're like in a monogamous relationship, if you are thinking of like not having babies or having babies, I just really think that natural family planning could work for a lot of people. Of course, it's kind of tedious because you have to be super on top of your period and like super good with those days. But if you think that birth control is easier, because I honestly for a minute did think birth control was easier, like I was like, put the next one on in and I don't have to think about anything else. But I think that the side effects kind of just turned me off the Nexplanon. But that was really it for the Nexplanon. I didn't have any other side effects, but I think with the ones I did have, it was enough for me not to go back on it. So
and we're back, guys.
okay, so now I have something else that I wanted to bring up. Sorry, this podcast kind of feels like I'm leading it a lot, but
No,
you're
good.
fine with that, okay? Yeah? Okay. So there's this other thing that, as I said, Stacy told us she's pregnant. And so the other day I got a message and she asked me, she's like, hey, like I just wanted to hear your advice on how I can prepare my dogs to bring my baby home. And I think we talked about this a lot, like before we gave birth and then after we gave birth, and how we tried to make the dogs comfortable and how we tried to make them know that like the baby was here, but it was okay, like no iba a pasar nada. So I'm really passionate about talking to moms who are a little bit nervous. Even when we had our puppies last year, one of our puppy's moms was actually pregnant at the time, and I remember you guys remember how Jonathan was super specific about who the parents were going to be. So I asked her, but he told me, he's like, just make sure, babe, make sure. I was like, hey, like a puppy's a huge responsibility and we completely understand if like you don't want to go through with it. I was like, but we don't want you to like feel like you can't give your baby or your puppy too much attention, because they're gonna be puppies at the same time, like as the baby's born. And she was like, no, like I want a puppy and I'm gonna give it all my love and care until the baby gets here, and when the baby gets here I'm still gonna love it. Okay, so to this day, they're like, she's the perfect mom to her baby. They're and to friends. And to our puppy girl, she is living her best life, right? So we are super passionate about that. Especially because we see that there's a lot of dogs at like the shelters and stuff like that, and a lot of dogs that get rehomed. I see it on Facebook all the time, babe? Like 3 times a week I'm like, oh my god, do we want another dog because they're rehoming this puppy? So this is where I get a message, and it's like, it wasn't like an advice, it was kind of advice, they were asking for help. But she messages me and she says, hey, I'm pregnant and I have this 3-year-old dog. And I was hoping that you could post it on your story and see if I could rehome her, because I just don't think that I'm gonna be able to take care of it when the baby's here. Like I don't have the means to like give her attention. I don't know if I'll be able to like still feed her while I'm like feeding the baby. And like of course maybe it was financial situation a lot, but I was when I told Jonathan, I was like, this makes me kind of angry. Like I'm sorry, it sucks that she's in this position, I would hate to be in it, because she told me, she's like, I'm heartbroken, I love her, and etc. But Jonathan and I have always been passionate about saying, if you're gonna get a dog, make sure you're getting it and that you're gonna have that dog for the rest of its life, right?
For the next 15 years.
Yeah. So make sure that you're not going to go through the puppy phase and then, they're not cute puppies anymore, so you're going to sell them. you know, or you're not going to go through the puppy phase and you're not going to put any work into like training them. And then since when they get bigger, they're not trained, and then you want to sell them or rehome them or give them to the shelter. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up because I feel like there's so much you can do to prepare for that, but also we just want to be kind of advocates. Why can't I say that word? To not getting a dog unless you're 100% sure that you're going to keep it forever, because like they say, guys, to you it's just a dog, but to the dog, you are their whole entire world. Like they love you so much, whether you treat them good or bad, whatever. Like this dog is attached to you. So if you think that when you have a baby you're just gonna go and rehome it, just don't get the dog, period. Like don't get it because they're cute. Don't gift them as Christmas presents and then in 2 months they're gonna give them away. You know, you just have to be super like I guess not kind of like educated in the sense that dogs do require a lot of attention, and if you don't think that you can give them that attention for 15 years, then don't get one, you know.
This channel is all about, you know, helping you guys and human rights, but it's also, we're big animal lovers, so it's big animal rights. And if we're going to hurt some of your guys' feelings because we're saying the truth, and so be it. You know, I don't really care, because these animals, you know, I think they're like complete blessings, but they're also like nothing to be messed with. Like at the end of the day, you're getting like an animal that with sharp teeth and like that can run for miles, like a little machine, you know. When you buy a car or if you buy a tractor, you're not just, oh, I bought a tractor, you know, like I don't know how to use it or take, like, no, so the same thing with the dog. I feel like dogs, like, because they're so accessible, like it's just whatever. But at the end of the day, you're buying like an animal. Like what's the difference between a dog and a horse? You know, you don't see a horse every day in the backyard because it needs, but that's not because a dog's any less, you know, maintenance wise or anything like that. It's just because a horse is bigger, you know. I feel like dogs are just the same amount of work. So, yeah, like really think about it. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Like, well, let's take this girl for example. I just don't see a world in where like like a dog is too much when like a 3-year-old dog is too much when a baby comes. Like I just don't. Like, let's just say you have a house, right? Like, for example, we've neglected a lot of attention with our dogs. Like when Franco was born, not as many walks, not as many hikes or lake or swimming days, but they were still right next to us in the living room getting like physical love and verbal love. And like, so why, like, I feel like your dog would prefer like never going on a walk ever again, but like you like kissing it and holding it for a couple minutes a day, than like being like rehomed or thrown into a shelter.
Someone that he doesn't know.
Exactly.
And that's what I was telling Stacey. I was like, yes, the first couple of months were tough on the dogs in our sense. Like we felt really bad because we did neglect them a lot. But
I say even before.
Yeah. But I did Jonathan every single week, whether it was just once a week, but every week there was a day where Jonathan would either take them on a long walk, would either take them to the dog park or take them to get pup cups at Starbucks
in the mornings. Remember?
Yeah, I feel like every day you try to do something special for them, but it was like for sure once a week, like they did something that they absolutely loved. And it also does play in the matter that I gave birth when it was snowing, so there wasn't a lot that we could do, but Jonathan made sure to make them feel special at least once a day, if not for sure once a week, you know. So, and then there was just other things that we had a lot of help with as well, but like that's the one thing, just at least if you can give 2 seconds of your day to the dogs. Like I saw this TikTok that's like, if the first thing that you do in your day is just say hi to your dog, say good morning to them, like that's gonna set them up for the best day ever. So we try to do that a lot too. Like we wake up and Franco pets them and then we pet them and then they go out and do their business in the backyard. So that's why I was telling Jonathan, I was like, this makes me like, I'm so passionate about this because in the Hispanic culture, I feel like they have a lot of thoughts about dogs being inside, and I don't think a lot of Hispanics have inside dogs, and they're like mostly outside, and they're not treated as pets. They're kind of just treated as animals that live outside. And I think that's why we're so passionate about it, because I feel like we never knew how much we could love our dogs. But when we first got Ozo and Chai, they were literally our babies, and we treat them as babies. I mean, they have to go to the doctor. They have to get their shots. They have to get good food. They have to get their exercise. So I think that's what we're so passionate about it, because now, since we're obviously adults, we could do whatever we want. We have our choices. Like, if you choose to get a dog, you have to make sure that you choose the whole, like, 15 years of the dog, not just until you're tired of them.
Yeah, because and the cool thing is that we've been parents and we are parents. So when you say I don't have time for it, I'm not gonna have time for it anymore. Like, no, you do. Like, trust me. Like, even if it's just while the baby's napping, just like hold and, like, you know, talk to your dog nicely or give it a treat or something. Like, there's always time for your dog. So I just don't, like, I can't imagine like it's rehoming a dog. I guess people don't have the same love for their dogs as we do, but like, no, like, I don't see a world where, like, let's take the worst case scenario in the freaking world, which would be that my dogs would absolutely hate Franco for some reason. Then that's where I get the best trainer, or I mean, the best trainer, the best anything to, like, make them like my son, or just keep them away for a little bit, but not like completely rehome. You know what I mean?
I think we were talking about this as if, like, if the dogs ever got a little bit aggressive, or if they ever gave us signs that they did not like Franco, it's not like we're going to give them away right away. No, like, we're gonna put our time and effort and care and love and be like, okay, let's figure out what's going on here, you know? We're gonna make them feel comfortable. We're gonna get the right training, get everything right, because that's the last thing in the worst case scenario. Like, the worst case scenario wouldn't be give them away. The worst case scenario is spending thousands of dollars getting them trained to be able to stay with our baby, you know? So I don't know, guys. I know that maybe a lot of you guys aren't dog people or pet people, but it is Spill the Beans. And I did get this question in my DMs, and I just wanted to talk about it here because I just want you guys to know, like, I want you to know before you get a dog that this is for the long run, and you choose to get it. It's not like they chose to come into your life and, like,
especially because the holidays are coming up. I think we should talk about it, because obviously one of the biggest presents is dogs, you know, for little kids. And I think I've gone through my, like, 3-4 dogs, guys, that my parents would bring home, and then I would fall in love with the dog, and then my parents would get tired of it in a few months, and I didn't have a dog no more, which is fucked up, because I've always been an animal kid or lover. So it's like, imagine your parents giving you this dog, and as soon as it's an inconvenience for them, they take it away, you know? So like, that's fucked up. And I don't know why having a dog is so accessible. Like, that's just crazy to me. Like,
you should get tested. Like, I love that there's breeders out there that do, like, a whole, like, home inspection. Like, send me pictures of your house, send me pictures of your backyard, like, send me, like, where you work and everything. And that's kind of what we did, right? Like, we asked them where you work, how much time you get off. Like, we asked so many questions because we've had to make sure that these puppies are going to a home where they were going to be loved, not just for that 1 year, but for the rest of their entire life. And I just wanted to say that if you think that the dog is ever going to be an inconvenience, please just don't get one. Like, just don't.
Or do your research, like, on dogs también. Like, I was seeing this TikTok, and this guy, I follow him because he puts, like, a GoPro on his Belgian Malinois. It's like the German Shepherd, for those people that don't know. And the dog, she's super smart, super well trained, but she'll put a dog in its place if she has to, you know. And that's what I love about her. So she goes into the dog park, and any dog that tries to, like, challenge her or do bad behavior, she corrects them. So there was, like, this husky in there, and right away the husky tried to, like, assert dominance. And then while like all this is happening, he, like, freezes the frames and gives you an explanation of the behavior of the dogs. And it's like, here you can see, I forgot the name, but here you can see my dog putting her ears forward with her nose, and that means that she is not showing any sign of, like, backing down from the husky. Boom, the husky goes for the bite, and my dog reacts by, obviously the dog kicks the husky's ass. You know, Belgian Malinois are, like, literally rockets on legs. And so then the owner of the husky comes in, like, hey, like, you know. And it's like, you're an old lady that has no recall on her dog whatsoever, because she's, like, calling the husky, and the husky does not care. And you have one of, if not the most energetic, active, strong dogs there can be, which is the husky. Like, literally, like, one gene away from the wolf. So it's like why I don't get when these people get these type of dogs, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have, like, the training or the, like, you can't read, like, physical cues, you know what I mean? Like, when I go to the dog park, right away I'm expecting, because I've learned a lot about dogs, so I can right away tell who kind of doesn't like Ozo. Because when you go into a dog park, Ozo's still intact, so not everyone's gonna like him because they smell, you know, the testosterone in him still. So then they're like, I can tell who's gonna be a problem, and right away I'm like, I try to like, you know, move him in or like move him away, and sure enough they start getting along. But I can like see the dog's behavior. So if you can't properly diagnose a dog's behavior, then I don't think you should have one. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a crazy thing. Like, cowboys, they know when their horse is agitated. They know when their horse is about to kick someone. So you're telling me you can buy a husky on Craigslist, and you like the thing that Nat was telling us, that these two pit bulls just killed like two little kids, and that's like at the end of the day, like, they're pit bulls. They're dogs that like have been bred for years and years and years to kill bulls. That's why they're called bull terriers, because they hang on to the throat of these calves and bulls and literally like asphyxiate them to death. So it's like, in the last 30 years, pit bulls have built another like rep to be like nannies. Like, sure, like, but it's you're taking 5,000 years of bullfighting to 30 years of being with families, you know. Like, which one's gonna win? Like, as much as I love pit bulls, you know what I mean?
And I feel like, I'm sure there could have been some warning signs too, don't you think? Like, it wasn't like they just turn around and attack them.
No,
like, well, you have to really identify the warning signs. Like, if they're poking their butt, if they're pulling their tail, you know, you just have to, it's like you have to kind of train your toddlers and your babies and your kids to respect the dog.
That's another big thing that we were gonna like talk about. That like, a lot of people, like, obviously when you have a kid, like Franco right away, like, was born, I love Franco more than Ozo. Like, that's a no-brainer. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I love my dog and my son the same. No, of course not. But just for that same reason, I'm not gonna go and defend Franco like a blind person. Like, that gives me like customers always right vibes. Like, oh, my toddler can never do anything. No, there's some freaking asshole toddlers out there. And crazy. Right now, Franco's 8 months, guys, and he pulls Chai's hair a little bit, but he doesn't know any better. He's just trying to get her, and we teach him. You know, we grab his little hand and we like run it through her hair, like, to be more gentle, because at the end of the day, I'm not also gonna let Franco like go and kick my dogs or do anything like that. We had Blanca's little cousin stay here, and I feel like they're toddlers, so she would like pick on Chai, and Chai would like defend herself. She would growl and like kind of like nibble at her little cousin, and obviously she wouldn't hurt her, but she would like do enough to scare her. So she would like come in and cry and say that Chai bit her, and me and Blanca just turned around and ignored her, because we're like, no, that's what you get when you pick on a dog, you know. Like, well, I'm not gonna go out there and regañar a Chai. Like,
and then sure enough, like in 1 week, she was like, okay, like I cannot pick on her anymore, because then this is what I'm gonna get in return. And that's what I say, you have to train your kids to be respectful to dogs, because you can know your dog 100%, but if you do something to make it mad or something, it's gonna react. Like, there's no way that it's not, you know. So you just have to be super, I don't know, because I was like, thinking about buying a dog is so simple. Like, going out and buying a dog, it's simple, but having a dog is not simple. You have to train it. You have to make sure you have like a good lifestyle for the dog, because they say you get a golden doodle, which are known to have a lot of energy. You have to make sure that you get that energy out, or they're going to be freaking crackheads at your house, you know. So it's like Jonathan said, you have to do so much research on the dog that you're getting. You have to do research within yourself. Like, do I have what it takes to be a dog parent? Because we just want less dogs to be rehomed. Because can you just imagine the trauma? Like, imagine we rehome Ozo right now. Yeah. And he never sees us or Magali again. Yeah. He would literally, pobrecito.
He'll probably die from a broken heart.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing that Trump did in office that was good, was make animal abuse a federal law. God. I think that should be like instilled more, because at the end of the day, like, it's a big reflection of the person you are. Like, if you don't treat a dog good, or you like physically abuse it, or like emotionally abuse it, or like just are able to rehome a thing that you've loved for 3 years, it kind of makes me doubt you as a person. Like, damn, like, what other fucked up shit have you done in your life? Or like, how will you, like, you're saying I'm gonna rehome my dog of 3 years because my baby's coming. Like, I feel like we were talking about this the other day. I feel like Mexican moms, they like love and like talk so good about their daughters, and especially daughters, because I feel like Mexican moms are way more harsh on their daughters. Las peinan, las visten bien bonitas, and they're like, oh my God, and then they like turn like 5 or 10. I don't know. There's an age where like they absolutely hate them. And I'm talking experience from my aunts, like the chiquitas are like, you know, love it. And then they get like, ay, porque estás bien fea, like dientuda, you know? And I'm like, God damn, like that gives me those kinds of dogs. You can rehome, I mean, those kinds of dogs, those kinds of vibes. Like you rehome your dogs in 3 years. In 3 years, you're going to treat your kid like shit when it's no longer like a baby. You know what I mean? So baby. Yeah, those two vibes, I cannot describe it. Just like Thursday gives me Thanksgiving vibes. I can't explain it.
Yeah, and honestly, guys, I just know there's someone in the comments angry typing this whole ass comment like, well, you should be glad she's trying to rehome it instead of treat it like shit, blah, blah, blah. I understand, like, no, if you're going to rehome it, like, of course, like, try to find a good family, try your best, but... Yeah, but it's like that doesn't take away of the act that you're doing. The fact that you just don't want to care for this dog anymore that you've had for 3 years, that he fell in love or she fell in love with you, and then now you're just going to give it away because the baby's coming. You know, that's why Jonathan and I did our research so well too, that we trained our dogs to be what we wanted them to be when Franco was here, but we trained them 6 months in advance, or no, like 4 months in advance, so that they didn't correlate the two things. Like when we trained them to not sleep on the bed anymore, it
was like what, like a good 5 months
before it was 5 months before Franco got here, because we didn't want Franco to be born, Franco to come home, and then as soon as he gets home, all of a sudden they can't get on the bed anymore. I'm gonna correlate you being mean to me to Franco being here, so now I'm gonna attack your dog, your son, you know. So we didn't want that, so we made sure to do everything before that he got here. So when he got here, they did not care about him at all whatsoever. They were living their best life.
We would play crying on the TV, on our phones, and then like as she said before, no more bedtime, no more. It's not only like a safety thing, like if they roll on him, but it's also like a cleanliness. Like Ozone Chai, they get groomed and cleaned and bathed once a month, and they don't roll in mud. But like it or not, guys, dogs lick their ass, they lick their coochie, they lick their dick. Like it's just, they're not as clean as most people think. So obviously with a newborn baby, you don't want like those type of germs on the bed. So yeah, like I'd rather take the blame. Like Oz would be like, you're such an asshole, like all of a sudden I can't be on the bed. He'd take it out on me because he can't take it out on me physically than on my son, you know. Yeah,
so now they have a good like first impression of Franco, and now they don't want to, you know, obviously attack him, or they don't feel like he's jealous. A reason, like jealousy, he's a reason that we don't love them anymore or something like that. So yeah, sorry for going on that long tangent. We just really, really want to emphasize it because, as we said, we're animal lovers and we don't want these poor animals to go through trauma anymore. Like, I know a lot of people are like, why are you guys talking like that about dogs? But guys, dogs or pets in general, like, they are important. And if you're going to make them a part of your life, make sure they're a part of your life for the rest of their life.
And I feel like this podcast is big on just how we give advice on relationships, just how we give advice on being financially, you know, smart with the whole Hispanic community. That's a big part. We as Hispanics, Latinos, we're known for neglecting or being a little bit less passionate with our animals. It's just a Latino thing. Like, it's an overall joke around the community. Oh yeah, my dog sleep. Ay, mi papá como odia mi perro, you know, blah blah blah. My mom, she hits our dog with the chanclas just as much as she hits us. Like, it's a joke to be like, you know, that's been going around. So obviously, if you don't have a dog, or you're like, why am I listening to this? Like, it's just for those other people, guys, because you know, at the end of the day, I think that's another thing we can improve on. And because when you think of Hispanics, you think about the pit bull in the yard tied to the chain on the tree. Like, that's honestly so what it sad. Is. And so yeah, let's just get that stereotype over with, and like, you know, love our little fur babies.
And all we really want to say is, like, if you listen to all of this and you're like, nah, fuck that, then don't get a dog. You know,
like you.
But yeah, I know there's angry people in the comments. I know, but this is why you're listening to our podcast. These are our thoughts. These are our opinions. And if it's gonna help one dog out there, then I'm glad. You know, like, I'm doing my job. Yeah. That got me thinking. No, I'm like, I'm gonna message that girl back and.
No, kidding. But you know what? Like, I don't want to say, like, I wouldn't put myself in people's shoes, because right now I'm thinking about, like, let's say I did go through with the pit bull I wanted to get, remember? Guys, because I don't know if you guys know, I had already put a deposit down. I had already gone to see.
You already chose.
I already chose the one little pit bull I wanted when Blanca and I first moved out of her mom's house into our own apartment. I really wanted a pit bull, and I found the most perfect, like, parents. Like, it was such a nice tempered girl, and then the dad was big and muscular, and so the puppy was this beautiful like sand color with blue eyes. And I'm like, dude, I sent him the money, and I was like, I'm gonna pick him up this day. And right before we're about to go pick him up, Blanca's like,
nope, I got cold feet.
She got cold feet, and she's like, I don't like, you're gonna
Guys,
be at
it's
work.
because we didn't even have a couch at our house.
Yeah.
And he like literally already wanted to buy a dog. Like I think I told you that I was like, no, we're not getting it when we were on our way to buy like its things, like the bed, the bowls, everything.
Yeah. So then I was like, are you serious? Like, that's the only reason I moved out of her mom's house. I was like, because I wanted my own dog. So then she's like, no, like, you're going to be the one at work, and I'm going to have to take care of this big ass pit bull. Like, she loves pit bulls just as much as I do, but like, I understand her, like this like smaller woman taking care of like a big ass dog. Like, plus I'm at work. I don't want her to like, something to happen to her. But now I'm thinking, I'm like, let's say we would have gone with that pit bull. Even if he was the most sweetest, gentle giant, just seeing, like, knowing you have a pit bull at home with a little baby that's starting to crawl, like, it does get scary. And I know where these, like, fears of rehoming come from, but this is why we attack it from the root. Like, right now, a lot of you guys listening to this are super young, and you might be like me. You might be like, I want a pit bull, I want a Doberman, I want a Rottweiler, which are phenomenal dogs, guys, when used properly. But if you know that you have a boyfriend, you have a girlfriend, and you want a baby in the next few years, unless you don't want babies in the next 15 years when that dog dies, then don't get that dog. You know what I mean? Because like shit, I could have had the most trained pit bull, guys, but I know it's still just one of those little weird, eerie feelings you get that, like, I don't know. I see Ozo next to Franco, not scared at all. I see a big ass pit bull next to Franco, I'm like, oh fuck, like you never know,
Yeah.
So it's like, I get it, but ask yourself that if you're getting to ready to buy a dog, will I not have kids in the next 15 years? And most of the answers right now, I know, guys, are probably not, because a lot of you guys are in your 20s. You're not going to wait till you're 40 to have a kid. You know what I mean? So really think about that next time you're out there, dog shopping.
Or ask yourself if you have the means to take care of a dog and a baby in the next 15 years. And as Jonathan said, attack it from the root. If you're going to get a pit bull, a Doberman, whatever, make sure you do your research onto how to properly train them once, and also how to properly have them in your home, like how to take care of them properly, how to take their energy out properly, how to mentally stimulate them properly, because all of that is going to help you in 5 years when you want to have a baby, because you're already going to have your dog trained, and it's going to be smart enough to like listen to you and to respect your baby in a sense. So just ask yourself, because as I said, you think that having a dog or getting a dog is so simple, but it truly isn't, and it can get really difficult. Like, how many people don't we see with walking pit bulls, and the pit bulls literally pulling it, almost like dropping them on the floor? Like, you have to properly train them, or you have to know, like, be selfless, because it's not selfish, but like, be selfless enough to not get a dog. Don't be selfish and just get a dog because you want it for 1 year.
Look cool.
Yeah.
So todo su tiempo, guys. You know, you're gonna have kids, they're gonna grow up. When they're 10, you can get that pit bull, you can get that Doberman, because you'll have not only the time to train it, but maybe the space. You'll have a better job, a bigger house. Your kid can defend himself, properly. So yeah.
Let us know what you think about that, or what your thoughts are, because we're open-minded. We love to hear everyone's opinions. So I guess the question of the day and the comment of the day is going to be, let us know your thoughts on that, like on having dogs, period, as a Hispanic, because I feel like in the American culture, it's so much like, it's normal for you to have a pet that you love with all your heart, that you take everywhere. But in the Hispanic culture, it just isn't. Like, when people would see us taking our dogs everywhere, they'd be like, what the hell? Like, why do you put them in the car? Why do you buy them pup cups? Why, like all of this? Why do you treat them as humans? So then I kind of want to, pick your brain on that. How do you guys feel about that? And let us know in the comments.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed our little rants for today. I hope you're having an amazing Friday. Whether you're going to work or school, kill it, kill it, kill it. Don't worry, wherever you are in life right now, it's just temporary. And babe, I have a little motivation. Okay, I told the boys this the other day. Ruben missed the audio on our last podcast, guys, for the cave. So it got taken down, so I can properly use this motivation, because it's not really recycled.
Okay.
But so there was this farmer in China, right? And I don't know why la moraleja says China. I guess like the farmer doesn't have to be Chinese. But I don't know why the where I saw it said Chinese, but I'm gonna say it exactly. Oh, because it gives Mulan vibes. Anyways, there was this farmer and he had a horse. And one day the horse got out and ran away into the forest. And his neighbor was like, your horse escaped. That's so bad. Like, man, I feel bad for you. And the Chinese farmer was like, maybe. So then the next day, the horse comes back with 4 wild horses. He became the alpha. These horses followed him back. So now the farmer had 5 horses. Same neighbor comes over and he's like, wow, your horse, you brought so many more horses. Now you have 5 horses for free. Like, isn't that so cool? And the farmer was, again, maybe, maybe. So then the next day, because one of those horses was wild, his son of the farmer tried getting on. He bucked him off and the son broke his leg, unfortunately. So then the neighbor comes again like, man, that sucks. Like, one of your horses broke your kid's legs. Pobrecito, like, that sucks, huh? And then the farmer was like, maybe, maybe. So then the next day, boom, China goes into war. They start drafting and recruiting, like in Mulan, when they go to house to get the strongest young man. Boom, they get to the farmer's house. Sir, do you have any kids? Yes, I have a son. Okay, he's going to have to come with us to the war. Boom, he has a broken leg. Because he has a broken leg, the son cannot go to war. And because he can't go to war, most likely, to a war he most likely would have died of, he gets to stay home. So now more of the story, like not everything right now that seems bad, guys, is like gonna stay like that. Or right now it's might be disguised as bad, but it's gonna have a positive, good outcome. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because say that horse would have never broken that kid's leg, his son would have gone to war and died. And that's why the farmer kept saying maybe. I got let go a few years ago from a previous job that I made really good money, and it was right next to my house, and I got let go, and it felt so shitty because I had never been fired or let go from a job. And I remember how like bummed I was, so bummed that I didn't tell Blanca for like a week that I had gotten. She's just like, you're not gonna go to work today? I was like, no, it's the snow. Oh, you're not, and you loved it, right? You're like, oh my God, he gets to stay home. I don't know why he's staying home so much, but I love it. Until like we came back from like a trip or something, and I was like, babe, it's because I got let go. I got fired. So then she's like, oh, like, that's okay. But I applied for another job. In that job, thanks to that job, guys, I met some of my bestest friends. I got my CDL license, and ultimately led to like me retiring and doing YouTube full time, So like, if it wouldn't for that guy letting go of me, like I would have probably not been here or had the same awesome friends that I do now,
Yeah, and I think that it was like blessing in disguise, because I remember when you got let go of that job, we talked about it. We're like, well, babe, just don't go back. Like just stay here, help me. But at that time, J&J wasn't what it was today. Like we hadn't really put a lot of thought into like making it what it was today. We didn't have plans of really anything. So at that time, it was like, oh, he got let go. I don't really know if we should do this full time together. And then Jonathan was like, no, you know what? Like, I'm just going to look for another job, and whatever happens, happens. And I was like, when Jonathan started that other job, then we got motivated to start J&J and go a little bit harder. And I was like, if he hadn't gotten let go, I think we would have never even kept going hard with J&J. We would have never planned, like nothing. Like we just wouldn't be where we are today. And I think that's what Jonathan's trying to say. Whatever's happening in your life right now, I know it's so cliche to say it's happening for a reason. Whether it's good or bad, it's happening for a reason.
Yeah, definitely. Like it might look and sound like the end of the day, guys. And I truly know some of you guys are going through some fucked up shit that's like, Jonathan, you're wrong. Like, I don't know why God did this to me. I don't know, but just trust me, guys. It's not going to be instant. It's not going to be days, weeks, even months from now. It could be a few years, but you're going to look back and be like, wow, like, thanks for that happening. Like there's endless stories of the same one I had. Oh, I got fired, I got let go, it's the end of the world for me, and boom, I started my own business. Now I'm a trillionaire. So like, whatever you're going through, guys, just know that you're not here for an accident, first of all. Therefore, God has a good plan for you, and he's just not going to let you rot in your room for the rest of your days. Exactly. He has something planned for you.
Yes, and you got this. Like, just use it as motivation, use it as fuel. It's temporary, as Jonathan said. Like, everything's going to be okay at the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Like, you got this. And as my mom always says, like, the only thing that doesn't have a solution in this world and in this life is death. So if you're alive, then everything can be resolved. So keep going, échale ganas, ponte las pilas, and also put your city down below so Jonathan can do your weather next time.
Yes, well. All right, guys, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Later.